Clarity SLA Manager complies with TMF standard and performs real-time monitoring to ensure the service provider meets their prescribed SLA. It can handle the entire range of service level agreement management processes: SLA definition, compliance monitoring, triggers actions and alerts when SLA is breached, or early notification that SLA is in danger of being missed. Measurements represent the raw, measurable quality of service metrics and parameters which can be collected from any source of data, for example, network and service resources. Typically, measurements are collected from the following sources: customer reported faults, automatic generated faults, performance data, and installation timeframes. Standard pre-configured measurements delivered with SLA Manager are response time, time to restore a service, time to provide a service, and interruption date. New measurements can be added as required by service provider by implementing a measurement function as specified in SLA Manager interface specification. Based on raw measurements, the service provider can build aggregate measurements called service level objectives, which can be presented and marketed to the customer. A service level objective is always connected to a property visible to the customer. Covered periods defines the limit of service provider support for a different time of the week. An objective can be associated with a cover period. This can be used to offer different SLOs for different periods of the day, for example, peak hours, off hours. As a result, service providers can offer a wide range of service levels in the template. A template is used to describe the quality of service to be offered as part of an SLA contract, and it forms the basis of a service level agreement. An SLA template allows service providers to establish standard SLA agreements for different types of services. Templates can be differentiated to provide service level choices to customers, such as gold, silver, and bronze services, or any other naming convention that suggests a unique level of service. SLA templates effectively are part of the service provider's product catalog. Based on network resources and network capabilities, appropriate characteristics of the service elements are identified. The classes of service, the measurable parameters for a specific class or service, which can be guaranteed to the customer, will form the SLA template for a given service. Once the customer purchases an instance of a service, the template is used as part of a contract between a customer and a service provider. If the customer's SLA needs exceed that standard SLA parameter definition set in the template, there may be negotiation of the SLA terms between the customer and the service provider, depending on the type of service offered. If the service provider agrees with the new requirements, the new parameters will be part of a new template. This template can be reused for other contracts. Template name is the name that is displayed in the list of available templates when you later include a template in an SLA contract. Template name should be meaningful to distinguish this offering from other offerings, perhaps to reflect a unique level of service. Configuring the service level objectives to be added to the template includes doing the following steps. Choose the objective to be included in a template. Specify the cover period for the objective, for example 24/7 business hours or peak hours. Set the reporting period for the objective, current, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Define at least a threshold value. Define at least an action for the threshold. Unlimited number of objectives can be added to a template. For each objective that you select, one cover period can be set. For each cover period, many levels of thresholds can be set. Thresholds represent the committed targets for an SLO. Network parameters are assessed in real time and compared with prescribed thresholds. SLA Manager supports multiple levels of thresholds for each SLO. The threshold severity follows the ITU standard. The possible threshold severities are: warning, normally used as a remainder of the work required to be done. Minor, corrective action should be taken to prevent a more serious condition. Major, urgent corrective action is required. The SLA contract is about to be breached. And critical, it can be used when the SLA contract is breached. Actions represent the procedures to be invoked when a threshold is reached. The following actions are supported. Email. An email action can be sent to notify a person or a group of persons. Upgrade priority. The system can automatically increase priority with the specified increment if the threshold level is reached. This action will set the event to a higher or next valid higher priority to ensure the issue is addressed with a higher level of care and attention. Modify priority. The system will set the priority of the event at the specified level of priority. Workgroup change. System can automatically reassign a workgroup if a threshold is reached. This will help the workgroup receiving the task, fault, service order to address the issue as high priority. Rebate. For each rebate action which needs to be executed, SLA Manager will call a callback procedure. The implementation of this procedure is site-specific and needs to be implemented to comply with the billing interface. More than one action can be invoked if a certain threshold is reached. For example, upgrade priority and workgroup change. The action set can be extended. Refer to the SLA interface for the information on how to implement the user action. With Clarity SLA Manager, you can define SLA contracts across any resource in your enterprise. Many of these SLA contracts are used to define managed levels of service with external customers, where you are the provider of the services. Other SLA contracts can be defined to track the internal operation or can be used to track services provided to you by a third party. In the later case, you are considered to be the customer, not the provider. The SLA contract contains SLA template, start date, end date, reporting period, and a status. Status can be draft, active, cancelled, or on hold. You can save a draft of the contract and continue working on it later, or you can make it active to start being monitored. A contract can be created using contract definition screen or can be created via an API by the external system. You can add to a contract many element types. The element type specifies the type of enterprise resource against which the SLO is applied. For example, circuits, network elements, cards, employees. Any element can be added to a contract. To help distinguish between these different types of SLAs, 3 types of SLAs are defined. External SLA. Tracks services that you provide to your external customers. Reports are available to your customers, showing levels of services that are being provided. In this type of SLA, you are considered to be the provider of the services for your external customer. Internal SLA. Tracks the internal operation of your computing infrastructure. Reports generated are for internal use only. In this SLA, you are considered to be the provider, while your customer can also be your own organization or another internal group ultimately responsible for providing services to an external customer. Use an internal SLA to monitor your own internal operations, enabling you to provide services to your external customers on a more reliable basis. Outsourced SLA tracks services provided to you by a third party. For this type of SLA, you are considered to be the customer, not the provider. You may want to define an outsourced SLA to monitor critical services that are provided to your organization, core services for your environment that you use to provide your services to your external customers. External systems communicate with the SLA engine via SLA messages. SLA messages contain information about changes that occur in one of the SLA data sources. If a fault, service order, or performance record changes, then an SLA message will be sent to the SLA engine. The SLA message contains the information for the SLA engine to determine if the change has a possible SLA impact. The properties contained in the SLA messages are described. SLA management provides both a current objectives monitoring view and a historic objectives monitoring view. These views allow a user to see the objective details for an object by presenting the data in a logical tree structure. The current view should display only the latest objective repository data for the objective, while the historical view should display all repository data for the objective. In this view, the user can see the objective for an object and expand nodes to see the full details of SLA related information.